Good morning. I certainly didn't expect such a crowd, but it's very nice to have everybody here this morning for what is a milestone in the development of our project to build a new K-12 school in Kingsville. And we're very excited. You know, we make our lists, we send letters, we try to be nice all year instead of naughty. And occasionally a large jolly man with rosy cheeks gives you something you wish for. It's like, I'll ask our resident expert, Shelley Armstrong, it's like
Christmas.
Well, that's a really good answer, Shelley, but I was thinking more in terms of new school construction projects. So it's quite a process, and we thank everyone for tremendous patience and for their faith, obviously, in our board and in those who provide us with our grants to be able to do these things. First of all, this morning, I'd like to introduce the MPP for Chatham, Kent, Leamington, Mr. Rick Nichols.
Well, thank you very much, Scott, and good morning, everyone. What a great turnout. I thought that this was embargoed. Apparently not. This is great to see. Aaron, it's nice to have you here again. Thank you. We've spoken on the phone many, many times. And it's also nice to see a friend and colleague, but at the federal level, Chris Lewis, here today as well. So, Chris, welcome. Thank you very much for being here this morning. You know, it's a real honor for me to be here today and to talk specifically about education. You hear a lot of things in the newspaper these days about education. I like to say it's all positive, but unfortunately, there's the other side of that as well. I guess it depends on who you listen to and who you talk with. But again, you know, one of the things that we're very, very pleased about is the fact that we've been working hard, and I know that the Greater Essex District School Board has been working diligently over the past couple of years, actually. And now finally, it's coming into fruition because there's been a lot of what we call red tape that, in fact, has been getting in the way, and things like environmental assessments, and Scott, you talked about a few other things as well. So I want to commend, you know, your school board for the persistence and for the tenacity that you've demonstrated. And I look out at this room today, and I see students in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, I see grade 4, grade 8, and I see some high school students as well. You were a goalie, huh?
Here.
I could tell. I was a goalie too. Oh, you might have a role in politics down the road. You might be like me. Got a couple of extra shots right about here, and you're in politics, and that's just
Me too.
Yeah, me too. Oh, as goalies, we stick together, and so on. But friends, this is a very exciting day today. You know, again, I know that in fact, in past, there's already been some amalgamation of two other schools right now. But in essence, what's going to happen is that our government and our great education minister, Stephen Lecce, has in fact, we've approved the purchase of the property where your new JK to grade 12 school in Kingsville is going to be. And that amount of money is to almost $2.7 million. So that's a great kickstart. And I'm very excited about, yes, absolutely. You know, again, as I mentioned about the tenacity of the school board, and we want to invest in our students. We want to ensure that we have the best learning facilities for our students to learn in. Things have changed. I look around here and I see young, and I see middle-aged. I'm middle-aged, by the way, and no one else is old here. We're just all middle-aged, and things have changed though. Things have changed from back in the day when many of us were involved in grade school and high school and school programs and so on. We want to prepare for the future, and that is, for me, that is critical, and that's one of the priorities of our government and of our Ministry of Education as well. And again, as we talked about earlier, this investment is in fact going to provide a great home for those students from JK through to 12. It's kind of a cool concept too, where in fact and I suspect that down the road there'll be some significant cost savings to the board. Because we're kind of combining it all as well. So I'm very excited about that. And again, the Ford government is working, with school board partners, in fact, to invest capital projects and advance student learning. And of course, in the budget 2019, we stated that over the next 10 years, we will be investing over $13 billion. That's right, with a B. Over $13 billion over the next 10 years in education, in terms of capital grants, which includes allocating over $500 million this year alone for new schools, additions, and of course, major renovations. We're doing some of that already. I've already made a few announcements about that. So that's really, really exciting. You take a look at the school. I know the school that I went to, back in the I must have read about this back in the 50s, and they insulated differently, didn't they? And of course we realized that insulation really isn't the best, and so major renovations, and we need to help out our school systems and school boards to again protect even the health and well-being of our students as well. So I'm very, very excited about that. Of course, as you know, we've been modernizing our curriculum to revitalizing our classrooms and their facilities. And again, our financing for this new site here in Kingsville Public School has in fact further demonstrates that our government's historic investment in Ontario's schools, and our overall new school will be located on Jasperson Drive right here in Kingsville. That is really exciting news. It's and as I drove in and I looked around, I said, oh, this is great. Look at this facility. Yeah, you've got a beautiful arena here. You've got soccer fields, you've got ball fields across the way as well. So again, this massive investment will in fact build new schools and help existing schools after a decade of, well, there's been school closures and so on. And we're saying, okay, we realize, did you know that the number of teachers, and I love teachers, truly I do, I've got a lot of good friends who are teachers, but the teacher, I'll call it enrollment, has gone up about roughly 12,000 over the last, we'll say decade or so. While in fact the student enrollment has decreased provincially by about 109,000. So up 12, but down 109,000 as well. So we've got our challenges in front of us, faced with us as well. We're trying to do the best we can. We're in our second year of our mandate, our first 4-year mandate. And have we made mistakes along the way? I'll be candid with you. Yeah, we have. And I'm sure there's people in here that would agree with that. But we listen to families, we listen to students, and we want to do what's best for your children, for the children that are represented here as well. So again, the funding that we are allocating right now will also go towards the replacement of aging heating and air conditioning units. It'll also go towards repairing roofs and windows and installing important accessibility features like elevators and ramps as well. I'm very, very excited about what's happening here in Kingsville. It's a happening little town near Santos. You've got it vibrant, Chris. I'm excited for you and your role in this community over the next 4 years and more. And again, I want to thank Aaron and Scott. Thank you very much. Scott is right there. There he is. And again, I want to thank everyone else for coming out today. This is a very positive announcement for this entire community. And I'm excited. Again, this JK through 12 school is going to actually be replacing, from what I understand, 3 schools. Is it Kingsville High School, Jack Minor, and Kingsville Public School? And the other amalgamations had already occurred where they rolled 2 other schools into them. So that's very, very exciting as well. So again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today. It's a pleasure for me to make this announcement on behalf of Education Minister Stephen Lecce. It's a vibrant town, and we look forward to shovels in the ground. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nichols. We certainly appreciate the government and the Ministry of Education's support. It is now my pleasure to introduce our chair of the Board of Trustees, I think making his first major appearance in that role. No pressure. Mr. Ron Leclerc.
Well, good morning, and yeah, you're right, no pressure. Good morning, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Lewis, Mayor Santos, members of Kingsville Council, my colleague and trustee, fellow trustee for the area, Julia Burgess, Director Kelly, and invited guests. I am pleased to welcome you to this significant announcement in the development of our new K-12 school in Kingsville. It will replace 3 schools, Kingsville District High School, Kingsville Public School, Jack Minor Public School, and Harrow Public School. Harrow Public School's students for grade 9 to 12, not replacing Harrow Public School. Let's make that perfectly clear. Sorry. I would like to acknowledge the principals of those schools, Bill Taves, James Cowper, Michael Hugar, and Lori Hughley, who have brought some students along with us for this occasion, as well as each school parent council chair that is here. Thank you for being here. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I'd like to announce that we recently approved the purchase of 25.1 acres of land here in Kingsville, just south of the arena, along what will be an extension of Jasperson Lane. Thanks to the Government of Ontario, the Ministry of Education, for providing funding in the neighborhood of $2.7 million for the purchase of this land. The overall budget for this project, not including money for the land, is approximately $44 million. It's a massive project, an important one for our board. This school will provide high-quality learning opportunities, a teaching environment for our students and staff for many years, along with new daycare spaces for the families of Kingsville. The obvious question most people will have now, what are we going to do on the land, and when will it start? Our next consideration is the development and design. Our facility services personnel, along with the architect, will spend the next number of months working on how we will build the school to fit on the property and be the best teaching environment that we can have. The design and budget will then go to the Board of Trustees for approval, and then on to the Ministry of Education for their approval. And when that comes back, we will tender for general contracting. Once that is finalized, a project this size will likely take 2 years to complete, and that will take us into the 2023-24 school year at the earliest. It has been our experience that patience is truly a virtue when it comes to building new schools, but we have become very good at it over the last 12 years, so it is all worth the wait for our community. It's going to be exciting to watch this Kingsville school go from the idea stage, where it's been for quite a long time, to paper and then to concrete and steel. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Ron. And now, of course, I mean, we couldn't have done all this without a tremendous partner in the municipality of Kingsville, and it's my pleasure to introduce Mayor Nelson Santos.
Thank you and good morning. Certainly exciting days, exciting news that we've received the approval from the Ministry of the Province of Ontario to secure the lands. It's something of somewhat of a journey that we've established over the last 3 or 4 years in identifying, when we were building the schools for your municipalities and for your residents and your students in our future, there's a lot that goes into it. While we talk about a land deal today, there was a lot more that was involved in terms of engagement and discussion. And when you look at the future of our community, you have to look at the area that you're looking to put in such a tremendous facility, a space that gives you the room to grow, to learn, and to certainly achieve. So on that behalf, I do want to say thank you to members of the superintendents of the school board for the continued work and support for identifying a location. At the beginning, we provided a full map of the municipality of Kingsville as to where in the world could we try to fit a school of this size and magnitude in a serviced area to be, again, environmentally conscious and supportive of the services that we can provide. And there was, Fortunate for us, there's 2 or 3 different locations that the board did go through and allocated. So I want to give a great attention to the owners of those properties, landowners, the developers who also took the time to work with the school board to identify if it would work or not work. And that was part of the process that brought us here today. For one specific family, I want to recognize the Raymark family, who these lands are part of the purchase that we did sever. The municipality had to approve some zoning amendments and changes to accommodate the new use, and that was all done publicly and in the forefront. On those lands were already pre-approved subdivision development, and that local family, the Raymark family, I want to recognize the need and the value of having this type of infrastructure and school in our community, and they said, what do you need? And that's how we started the conversation, and that's how we're building this together, and that's how the school board, the town, and the community have realized what a gem. We have an opportunity here to have a facility fully available to them, accessible for recreation opportunities, and now space that they can do great educational learning and tools around them, both for the environment, both for more activity and learning, but more importantly, a different kind of space that they can now create, and we look forward to seeing what that's going to look like, because we're willing and able to work as partners for new agreements to work with our facilities, knowing our students already come here. They're not a stranger to our arena, not a stranger to our tennis courts or to our baseball diamonds or our soccer fields, so it's already built in. So when we talk about new facilities, we can talk about truly what's missing, and we can work together collaboratively as a community to see how we can answer that question. So today is day 1 on behalf of the town of Kingsville. That's just the site. The development that's going to be leading, you're going to start to see some big changes. Jasperson Road itself is going to be urbanized. We're going to create an urban profile. It's going to be reconstructed. We're going to provide the services and infrastructure, not only to accommodate the school and the services they need to be a high-tech and accessible facility, but we're going to have a very improved roadway and road lane for our community. So we're going to have our sidewalks. Active transportation is going to be a key piece of the reinvention of that roadway, 3-lane profile. And from that work that we've done to date, I want to say thank you to our members of administration and team for coming together and identifying that that's a priority. And our tenders are going out, and we should see the construction of that and completion of that by the end of next year. So it's coming, and that will be in place. So we will have a lead. And that leads me obviously to our members of council. Both this term, Deputy Mayor Queen is in attendance. I see Councillors Scaffin and Lucier, and I see Neufeld and DeYoung, and Mr. Patterson behind the cameras. Yeah, nice to see you. So we have our full council representation here. So this council and the previous council members who helped lead the charge in ensuring that this stayed on the radar for us and for our community. And that is something that we never let go. And negotiations are always good. I mean, you talk about tenacity. I think we talk about just doing our due diligence. And it was very important that both sides were able to discuss how we can make progress and move forward together, knowing that it's not just a school we're building. We're building and embracing what community is going to look like and how we're going to be in the future. This is a life-changing event for our schools, the recognition of the good faith we've done in the past, recognizing Ruthven Public School that we've closed in showing that we're ready to move forward, and their amalgamation. The move of the Harrow students here to Kingsville Harrow High, again seeing significant investment and commitment that has been made and for our students in the future. As we move forward, and we look forward to bringing in all under one big roof, maybe 2 roofs, I don't know. They're going to be creative, so we shall see. But the important part is you're going to have a space that you can be proud of, a space that you're going to be able to learn from the high tech, and certainly identify abilities for a space that our teachers will be proud to work in. So I wanted to recognize that the space is being built for them. The community is very proud to stand beside the school board as we continue to work forward, and as we look for future developments, we will continue to have our doors open and be willing and able to work with everyone. So congratulations on the announcements to the school board. Thank you, Mr. Nichols, for attending and providing us that great news. That's the one piece of the puzzle we needed to be able to say we're going to start putting some shovels in the ground in many parts of this area right now. So thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, Mayor Santos, and just a note, anybody wants to petition council, I believe they have quorum, so you're here if you need them. And now, just to wrap things up, I'd like to introduce our Director of Education, Ms. Erin Kelly.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and to be here with Mr. Rick Nichols, Mr. Chris Lewis, Mayor Santos, and council members, and our Board of Trustees Chair, Ron Leclerc, and Ms. Julie Burgess, the trustee for the area. I know there are also many school council chairs and principals here, and our students, so thank you very much for being here. I think sometimes you need more time than actually anticipated, more energy than you had planned, and you have to face more obstacles than you expected, and to take one step forward, even if it's just a big one. It's one of those times. We are a major step closer to meeting a commitment that we made in 2016, and that was to build a new K-12 school in Kingsville. As Kingsville is well known for migratory birds and waterfowl, I think it's fitting that I've seen us as kind of a duck on a pond since the initial announcement. To all appearances, we've been floating calmly on the surface, yet underneath we've been paddling vigorously to keep things moving in the right direction. And I have many people to thank, including Mr. Nichols and the Government of Ontario for maintaining the promise made to us in 2016, and for the recent support for the purchase of the property for this new school. Mayor Santos and the town of Kingsville, who face many challenges, archaeological, environmental, animal, vegetable, and mineral. There are many hurdles for us to clear to get to this point, so thank you for your work on that. To our incredible staff in Facilities Services, Shelley Armstrong, Superintendent of Business, and Juliana Hitchcliffe, who I don't believe is here, but is our Manager of Facilities Services, who has done a great deal of work, and to Superintendent Todd Allwender as well. They inherited this very thick file from predecessors, a couple of them, and there's been much work that's been done in the past by others as well. And so thanks to the people of Kingsville and Harrow, who have managed to keep the faith that the promise would be realized. Thank you for your patience. I look forward to being out here actually, on the property itself for a groundbreaking ceremony in the near future. Thank you.